Meditation. What is meditation? How do I meditate? And am I doing this right? If any of these questions sound familiar to you, you are not alone. I can totally relate. I also remember a time in my life where even the word meditation was almost like triggering to me or activating to me. And it was most likely because it's what I actually needed the most and I was resisting the most. And for me, it was when the pain doctor was very loud for me in 2016 when I broke my back in a snowboard accident. And I, for the first time in my adult life, was forced to be with myself, and it was terrifying for me. I couldn't escape. I didn't have my physical body to escape, doing the things that I love doing activity-wise, and I really had two choices. I could choose to no longer be here anymore, which was a thought that was starting to go on a loop, or I can make the choice to do what I could do to become the best version of myself in this situation and to start to really get curious around what was happening inside of me. And I didn't have my physical body that I could escape to or really anything else because I was bedridden, and so starting to get into a practice of starting to notice my thoughts is what really has led me down, this path. And I can say this to you that the best or easiest way, simplest way I can describe meditation is it's simply becoming aware of our thoughts. And when we can become aware of our thoughts, it can actually look as simple as, oh, there I go again having a thought, or that's a really interesting thought. And just being aware that we're having a thought, because we have 40 to 60,000 thoughts a day, and even just reflect on like how many of those thoughts are just like you go 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes of just like this loop or this cycle or this something, and you're not even aware of it. And perhaps it's in like the fear or the guilt or the shame, and that's such a lower vibration type thought system to be in. And if you remember anything from the downward causation model is, our thoughts create our emotions, and our emotions then, go into our physical body. And when we think about if our thought system is carrying a lower vibration, well, then we're going to be having a lower emotional vibration, and then the same thing starts to manifest within the body. And so part of becoming familiar is maybe a good word. Becoming familiar with a meditative type practice is like brushing your teeth every day. It's like getting dressed every day. It's like having a shower. It's just like part of this way of taking care of our human thought system, because it's our ego thought systems that keep us stuck in these repeated limiting beliefs. And the way to get out of that is to simply bring awareness to these thoughts, because the job of the mind is to think. Like, thank you, mind, for having a thought, for having thoughts. Oftentimes it's, misconceived that it's like, I just want my mind to be quiet. And the truth is like, unless you reach like full stage of enlightenment and, really are super aware of your thoughts, the point here is that the job of the mind is to think. And so again, thank you, mind, for having these thoughts. And when we can start to realize that our thoughts carry a certain frequency, a certain vibration, and when our thoughts really become our beliefs, and our beliefs create a reality, we start to realize that developing some form of a practice can actually start to shift your internal world, and then your internal world starts to reflect your external world. And these forms of meditation can look in many different ways. I'll get asked, like, do I need to sit there in this like meditative pose wearing, my linen and my mala beads? And the answer is no. You can, if that feels good for you. And yes, doing, meditations in groups and in yoga and in breath work and in other forms of like group practices, it can be really powerful. And it can be just as liberating and impactful, having a solo practice, whether you're walking, standing, sitting, laying down, to find a way. And I mean, Joe Dispenza will explain all 4 of those ways as being effective, impactful ways to develop some form of a daily practice. Again, whether you're walking, sitting, standing, and or laying down, choose a style that works for you. That's key. Choose a style that you have capacity for, that fits the environment that you're in, and practice daily. and different ways of meditation. I'm going to explain a couple, so you have a bit of an idea. But it's really to create more brain and heart coherence is really what we are shifting with getting into this state. And one way is through a guided meditation. So guided meditations can be really nice to have someone guide you and your thoughts. So whether you are listening to something like on Insight Timer, Headspace, I have a couple guided meditations that I have on the Circle app that you can check out. It's really important to be able to resonate with the person's voice, with their energy, with what they're speaking about, so that you can get into, a relaxed state. So I encourage you to kind of experiment with a male voice or a female voice, or just different kind of styles of a more like direct, precise meditation, or more of like a flowy, feminine type meditation. It's just really dependent on you and your style. And there's not a one size fits all. You got to find your flavor. It's like we don't all like the same kind of, first thing that's coming to mind is ice cream, but we don't all like the same style of everything. So it's really finding a style that resonates with you. Body scans are really nice. So having someone guide you through a body scan, and or of course doing this yourself if you're there and if you're comfortable. But it's going, from toe all the way up to your head, of just checking in with different parts of your body and bringing more attention and intention there. Chakra meditations is where I started with some of Joe Dispenza's work, is focusing on your different energy centers and being able to create more space and light and healing in different parts of the chakra system or energy centers. For me, since it was I was going through my literally a compression fracture in my back, multiple different vertebrae, is bringing more healing into these parts of my energy centers to create more space and to create a different vibration in that part of my body. Visualization meditations are really nice, especially for anyone that's listening that is very visual. Like you see a lot of maybe colors or symbols, are able to really go on journeys like inside of your body. Doing more visualization guided meditations can be really nice to kind of invoke that creativity, or invoke, part of that part of you that likes to, go on adventures. Is a good way to explain it as well too, is the visualization can bring a lot of new thought systems when you get into that visualization creative type state, as opposed to being kind of a negative loop pattern. Another style of meditation can be a focus meditation. So for this one, what I really love practicing with is just getting a candle and simply lighting a candle and placing it in front of you and just focusing your attention on the flame. And as you're putting your attention on the flame, to bring your attention to your thoughts. And you may go a couple seconds without having a thought, and then the thought pops up just like a cloud, and you just notice it. Just, oh, there I go again, having a thought. There I go again, having a thought. And as you're focusing on the candle, you have something to like almost direct your tether to, almost like a North Star, and just simply go through a 15-20 minute cycle of just like focusing your attention on the flame and noticing your thoughts. Something that I want to add in here, because it's coming through to me and I feel like it's important to share, is as we become aware of our thoughts, one way to really help getting to the depth of our healing by doing this practice is forgiveness work. And so forgiveness is the antidote to all of our healing. And it can sound something like this: when you notice a thought come up and say it's a limiting belief, let's just say it's I'm not good enough, is I forgive the thought for ever believing that I wasn't good enough. I'm forgiving the thought that I ever believed that I was not whole and complete. I forgive myself for ever having the thought that I'm unlovable. And it's when we forgive the thoughts and create space for a new thought to come in, aka, I know I am meant to be doing what I'm here to do. I know that I have the ability and purpose to step on stage and to bring more light to the world. And when you can replace that thought system with something new, multiple times. It's not like a one-time or one-time type of experience. This is like a practice, just like going to the gym. When you want to be working on your physical body, you go consistently, like the small, consistent actions, those 1% shifts every day to be showing up for yourself. Having a form of a meditative practice is just that, is having the consistent actions, because we have 40 to 60 1,000 thoughts a day. That's a lot of thoughts. And if you have ever noticed when your thoughts are on this like spiraling loop, or you may go 15, 20 minutes on this like one negative loop cycle, and for you just to be able to catch yourself and come back to your center and forgive yourself for having that thought and then have a new thought. Here I am, I'm driving my car, I'm going to work, I am making an impact on the day, whatever it is that you can start to shift the thought system. And having a meditative practice is just like building that muscle. It's our, neural pathways that we're starting to strengthen and to create a new pathway. Another form, and I guess actually for a minute on the focus meditation, a candle is really nice, and or like a bonfire in those times of the year where we're having more fires outside, is when, if you've ever sat there and just been mesmerized by a flame, is to do that and become aware of the thoughts that are actually, starting to pop up. Movement meditation, one of my favorites. I'm a busy mama, and I find that my lifestyle right now no longer has as much time in the morning when I used to really love to do my practice of my minimum 20 minutes for me, a maximum up to an hour. But right now I've now replaced it with a movement meditation. So I take my dog and my little one out in the morning, every morning, and while I'm walking, I have my own meditative practice, and I actually include my daughter in with me, and we'll bring our attention to what's around us, whatever we see, taste, smell, and feel, being in nature. So I've now incorporated that into my life because it fits me right now. As she starts to get older and I have more, time having slow mornings, she's also a 5 a.m. riser, which is really early. I can do like 6:30, 7 at the latest, but 5 is like real early. So I've definitely noticed my practice has shifted, and that's okay. It's part of just being adaptable to the stage of life that you're in and kind of how your lifestyle is. So walking meditations can be really beautiful, yes, out in nature and or just like anywhere that you live. It can be really empowering to be stepping into who you want to be. And so as you're doing, again, the walking meditation or movement meditation, to be aware of what's around you. That's what I love to educate on, is to not be having a podcast in your ear and just kind of like going through the motions, to like really be present to what's around you. Can be really powerful. Metta meditation, I love as well. These are the style of meditation that is like a loving awareness type meditation. So this is first placed on yourself. We can't, love and forgive and trust others if we don't do that for ourselves. So a metta, METTA, meditative practice is sending this love and kindness to yourself first. So it sounds something like this, may I feel loved, may I feel peace, may I feel whole and complete, may I be well, may I be happy and healthy. And it's sending that energy to yourself first, and then you can bring into your vision a family member, a partner, any form of a loved one that you're wanting to be sending this love and kindness, practice to. And instead of using the word I, you can say, may you feel love and peace, may you feel joy and happiness, may you remember who you truly are in your light, and be able to send that out through the quantum, and start to make an impact on those that you love that are around you, and it can start to shift how you see them and how you are around them. And the final one that I'll go over today, there's many more, but I'll stop here, are I just explained metta meditations, but what I meant to say is mantra meditations. And mantra meditations is simply a practice that involves repeating a series of words and or one word, and or humming it or singing it, any way to just be repeating a certain pattern. It's shown, when you repeat these mantras 108 times, it helps to actually create new neural pathways, and it also helps the thought system. So instead of focusing on a limiting belief, we're focusing on some form of a mantra, aka new belief system. And again, in this form of a practice, it can be very healing for your subconscious mind. So one of them, and I'll just share a couple of them and see if any of them kind of resonate with you, is Shiva Shiva Shambho, Mahadeva Shambho. So Shiva is new energy, happiness, joy, and Shiva is really one of the destroyers. And so in order to invoke Shambho, to shatter limiting beliefs about yourself, repeating this mantra can be really powerful to start to show up in that way and a new layer of life. So you can repeat the word of Shiva, Shiva Shambho, Mahadeva Shambho, or you can bring a little spice to it and you can sing or hum. Shiva, Shiva, Shiva Shambho, Shiva, Shiva, Shiva Shambho. Shiva, Shiva, Shiva Shambho, Shiva, Shiva, Shiva Shambho. Mahadeva Shambho, Mahadeva Shambho. Mahadeva Shambho, Mahadeva Shambho. So there's one. So the second one is Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. This is actually one of the first ones that I learned in a ceremonial space. And again, you can say it, you can repeat it up to 108 times, and or you can hum it or sing it. It can sound something like this. Om Ganapataye Namaha. Om Ganapataye Namaha. And repeat. And you can kind of get into a nice little flow state. So you have no real other space in the mental body to be thinking about anything else other than you are repeating, which is nice. So there's a couple for you. As I mentioned, there are going to be a couple of recorded meditations in the Circle app. So if you guys want to kind of try out a few different flavors and styles, beautiful. You can also go on Insight Timer and or Headspace is another really good app that you can kind of play around with. 15-20 minutes every day. Ideally the morning is what I recommend, so you can, create space in your day to check in with yourself before you check in with others. If you only have 2 minutes a day, 2 minutes a day, take it, and then start to build upon it. It can this be like 2 minutes a day when you're in your car before you go into the grocery store or before you, go into work, whatever it may look like, just start to create space to practice the mental body, to practice noticing our thoughts. And that's all I got for you guys today. Hope that helps.